Hi drivers, Paul Taylor here from Truckers Justice Center. I want to talk to you very briefly. This will be a quick video. I want to talk to you about preventable and non-preventable accidents. So one of the most frequent calls we get in our office here in Minneapolis, Minnesota are calls from drivers who think they've been tagged on DAC or with FMCSA with having a preventable accident when they maintain it's non-preventable. There is a real gray area here. And so what you may think is non-preventable may be, in fact, preventable for DOT purposes. So drivers, when you apply for work with a carrier, the carrier is required to do a background check on you, which includes checking your accident records, contacting your previous employers. And sometimes there's gray area here on what's preventable and what is not preventable. For example, I've had drivers call and say, I was blown off, I hit black ice in the middle of winter, roads were icy and the winds were high, and I put it in the ditch, and the carrier told me that was a preventable accident, and they're reporting that on my DAC report. My question to the driver is, well, could the carrier believe that you should have kept it under control? Or did you check weather reports when you went out? And if they tell me no, I said, well, clearly then that somebody could reasonably construe the accident to be preventable. We had one crazy one a few days ago where a driver called and she said she choked on a root beer float. She choked on a root beer float. I don't know if she choked on ice cream in her throat. She rolled the truck over on its side and the trailer, and she was upset that the carrier called that a preventable accident. In my mind, clearly that's preventable. Other times we have drivers who will say they'll have a blowout, or, and they'll tell me the trailer tread depth was worn and they knew it and complained to the carrier. Well, the fact is, if the trailer has tread depth that's worn below 230 seconds or 430 seconds, for example, on the steer tires, then I asked the driver, I said, well, why'd you drive it? Well, the carrier told me to keep driving it and whatnot, things like that. However, the accident's still preventable. It's on the driver's part to make sure that the equipment is in safe operating condition. Now, again, there's a lot of gray areas, and there's some things that are plain. Side swipes are one of those things in the gray area. If you're in your own lane and rear-ended, then that is classed by DOT probably as a non-preventable accident or a crash. The other thing we run into are cases where drivers are reported as having, say, for example, they had the trailer doors open when they're backing into the dock door and they hit a pole. And the carrier puts on the DAC report that is an accident. And the driver will tell me, no, that's not an accident, that's an incident. Well, this issue was heavily litigated in a case involving OIDA's challenge to higher rights classification process and how their coding of items on a DAC report were not clear or they were vague. And the fact is that there is no legal definition of an accident or an incident. The fact is that based on court precedent, which I don't particularly like, if a driver curbs a tire, a carrier is within its rights to report that as a non-DOT preventable accident. Would not be an accident for DOT purposes because you have to have a bodily injury, a tow, or a certain level of property damage done, property or body, physical damage done. So just keep your nose clean, don't have accidents, and you don't have to worry about this. And remember, don't drink a root beer float while you're driving a commercial vehicle. Stay safe out there.